Hi guys. So this is a very ad hoc video, but this is going to be as excitable as the one when the first Checkmate 1500 cases arrived. In here is really two really special boards. Now you know I've got my Kickstarter coming up. Oh, let's not bang the table, shall we? So you know I've got my Kickstarter coming up, and one of the things that we're talking about on there is 2 FPGA cards, and they're in this. The prototypes are in this box. And they've taken nearly 2 weeks to get here. For some reason, what usually took about 3 or 4 days has taken forever. So this is not a professional unboxing, so you'll see I'm going to struggle trying to do this on camera. But I wanted you to see this. I did actually try. I was going to live stream this, but I couldn't get a damn bloody YouTube to do its business. Anyway, I've got my very old knife here. Now, I don't know if Edu, who designed the 2 boards you're going to see in here, gets as excited about this. I don't think I hope he does realise how important this is, or it could just be I'm wrong. I think these 2 boards are really important. Some of you know, I'll just show you this. Okay, so I developed this, which is the Raspberry Pi 4 fitting kit. So let me just go through this quickly. So here's your Raspberry Pi. Now I'm going to be shipping these with systems, and I've got this thing called Amiga Hybrid, AMI Hybrid software. And so basically you have your Pi 4. You notice I'm going to put on here these really nice coolers. Not that it really needs it, but because it's in the case, it's a good idea, and it keeps the temperatures to nothing. And then I have this little adapter board. And what that does is it puts all the connectors on the back. So there's your power. It's your power. You don't have to use that. That's usually your power, but it's your power don't tell me. But there's your 2 HDMIs and there's your audio. And so it enables you to fit a Raspberry Pi in the case as a low-cost way of getting this thing going. But importantly, here's our board that you may recognise from the Checkmate cases. And these are the ATX boards. Normally they're Power and Amiga, but you can see the cable here just goes off to this little board and plugs into there, and it just puts the 5 volts on the board, goes back in and powers it. And you can see this is very ad hoc because Alf is out of the back outside. So that's the Pi, which is very important. Okay. In fact, I had a lovely email from Eben Upton yesterday. So he's quite keen to see how this lot runs. So hopefully he'll bring some of the Pi fans back. But we will see. We had this shot once before, but that's the whole story in David's book. Go and buy David's book. In fact, go and buy David's new book. Right. This is quite exciting for me. Okay. Right. So now let's have a look. See what we've got. Okay. Because I actually don't know what's. Well, I do know what's in it, but there's packaging. Right. So what's in the first pack? I think the first pack is my original UnAmiga. That's where his whole FPGA journey started. I would like to mention that he's got a great team. I will talk about their team in another video. His team that does all the software and so that's the original UnAmiga, which is my one. But it's that's the original one. Now, and it uses this small I can't have an autofocus because this camera puts a square around me. So this it has a certain amount of space on this chip, okay, which runs an Amiga fantastically. Okay. Oh, this is just something else I ordered. In case you didn't realise, he does an awful lot of interesting products. I mean, I've ordered this one, which is a 23-way video adapter with some kind of improvement circuitry, so it makes the signal better, and it goes out for that. So it's a bit like the cards for like 1200 Amigas you plug in, put them into an LCD monitor or any monitor, but hopefully it's going to improve signal. That's one thing it's supposed to do, is improve signal. Test. Nothing to do with this project. Right, so now let's get to the interesting ones. Right, I'm going to show you. No, I don't know which is going to be my favourite, but I think I know which is going to be my favourite. I really, no, I've already had this. Okay, I've already received this once. And it's basically, this is the UnAmiga, but the ITX version, as you can see. And he's designed, I talked him into doing ITX versions of the boards, so that we could put them in the case, because some of you may be aware, when I first did the case, because I love what he does, and I wanted him to support the case. I didn't think he'd do it quite as much as he has. So I sent him a free case, and he's been absolutely wonderful. And look, I've got a range of products, which I didn't expect, but you know. So, now why is this special? Right. Now it's important to understand that what I'm going to say may seem like, oh, I've just bought one, but please don't. So this is a new version of the board. Now this new version of the board comes with, I sent this back to get, it's a brand new version of this little board that's come out, which has got more space on the FPGA. Now what does that give you? Well, it basically means that this new version can do RTG, and theoretically it's going to be a bit quicker. So this video is just a very quick, I'm not going to run this, I'm going to set these all up later on. But that's the FPGA. This thing's going to be able to run at a similar speed, from my understanding, similar speed to the MiSTix board, which is a MiSTix DEC10 Nano. But as you can see, so it's got an AMIA ITX, and there's the FPGA board. I believe this is this little serial adapter. I could be wrong. Oh, no, I'll come back to that. I'm not sure. There is apparently a serial adapter on it. It's too much here to go through the details. I'm just literally just showing you. But on the back, of course, you've probably seen these pictures already. Okay, there's all the ports. Now it's very important to understand. This board does not have an ARM controller on it. So the other board, which means it's also going to be cheaper. Right? This is a much cheaper board than the MiSTix. But it does mean a couple of, I'm not going to call them limitations at all. I'm not going to call them that. Differences, okay? So basically what it means is it doesn't have an ARM controller, which means it doesn't have Linux running. This is why I really like this. This is literally running a core, that's it. Whatever that core is going to do, that's it. So you put an Amiga core on this. This is, for all intents and purposes, an Amiga. Don't be confused on this. This is a little Amiga, and I believe it's, I need to do the test, but from my understanding it's running the same speed. If it runs the same speed as a MiSTix, it's about 2 or 3 times the speed of a 3000 with AGA. It's lovely. So yeah, but the key thing with this is, unlike the DEC10, which has HDMI and it has network and it has, you know, RJ45s and has a whole lot of stuff that's powered by the ARM processor with Linux running on it. This isn't. All this is running is the Amiga core. That's it. It really is an Amiga on its own. It's a modern implementation, FPGA implementation of the Amiga. And do not say it's emulation, because I will get annoyed, because this is not. This is a simulated, complete recreation of the Amiga chipset and RTG graphics card on that little chip. It's wonderful. I'm not going to call it a mini vampire, but I just did. So, but on the back, what you have is, now this is where we get into interesting points. So on the back, what we have 2 joy pods, so you can have your mouse and your joystick in there. Okay, normal Amiga mouse and joysticks. But you have your PS2. Let me see if I can get something to see it. PS2 keyboard and mouse. That's very important to understand. It's not USB. You can't plug USB into this. No USB, right? That's why you need the ARM core to take care of all that, and this doesn't have that. Hence me saying my favourite, because this is literally a new FPGA Amiga, which is why I love this little board so much. So it's got PS2 keyboard and mouse, which means it's a bugger buggers to get hold of a PS2 keyboard and mouse. And you can't just, and I've tried this, trust me, I've spent loads of time buying loads of USB keyboards with, you know, the PS2 adapters, which I haven't got floating around, I'll have them somewhere. And you buy these little USB to PS2 adapters. It's very rare that works. So in an ideal world, so I've been buying loads of PS2 keyboards. Yeah, that's what you need, right? And they come in white. Now the good thing is, bit bright, isn't it? They come. I look rough, don't I? Dog rough. Sorry about it. They look. They're not mechanical switches, okay? I can't. I'm still trying to have trouble to get nice mechanical switches. So these are your. Basically, this is a Mitsumi, so it's a very similar keyboard you get on the Amiga. So it's actually quite close. But if we're doing this, I might as well do it. Oh, that's not it. I've been buying so much gear. I've got to thank my patrons for this, because they, without my patrons, I wouldn't be able to move into the new office. I know I bang on about my patrons, but they mean a lot to me. Mitsumi keyboard. If anyone doesn't understand Mitsumi, all your keyboards, and it's not even. That's because that light's too bright. This is what it says Mitsumi. PS2. So you need a PS2 keyboard and mouse. So if you're thinking about getting one of these, right? If you're thinking about getting one of these, you need a PS2 keyboard and mouse. So think about what case you're going to buy. It doesn't matter if you're not buying my case. I mean, I'd like you to. You don't have to buy my case. You can buy just a mini ITX case or a micro ITX case. Micro ITX cases, you can still put a mini ITX board in. Okay, so that's the whole point of me talking him into doing mini ITX, because they'll go in any PC case. Right, so you need PS2. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's VGA output only, no HDMI. Now that does mean you get actually wonderful quality. I mean, the output from this, you're going to see this in a later video, okay? Because I'm going to be doing a video the weekend about how these work and perform. Bloody amazing. Now pretty much, I don't think I've got loads of monitors here, and they all have a VGA input. Okay, so you just plug it in, and you can switch them between like 60 and 50 hertz. Now, if you run it at 50 hertz, okay, first thing is, assuming your monitor supports this, you can double you could go into flicker free mode. Amiga could have had that, couldn't it? Really? Oh, it did actually, 3000. Well, I based my case on the 3000 because it was wonderful. But that's what disappointed me with the 4000 and 1200. You had to do it electronically and it never worked. You had to have some weird frequency. So, yeah, the 3000 was the best computer Commodore ever made, and that's why I get flamed, but I don't give a monkey. So, this, fantastic. Absolutely love it. So that is one. Oh, there's the audio output as well, so you get your stereo audio output. Now there is a serial connector on here. I'm wondering if it says. I've got to work that one out. But that's going to allow you to serial connection, so you can plug in things like, theoretically, plug in MIDI interfaces, plug in a serial networking of some kind. Not fast, but serial networking. And also the good thing is, because this actually runs on HDF files, and if you know, it's like a big single file that we can transfer between machines. So you can technically take this out, plug it into a PC, run an emulator, load the HDF file, make any changes you want to make, plug it back in here, and away you go again. Yeah? But don't think of this as a net, because I've seen comments, oh, it's not an Amiga if it hasn't got networking. Jesus, really? You obviously weren't around in the early days when we never had networking. Amiga's about a lot more than just networking. Okay, so networking is important, but if you want that, go to the next one, which is the MiSTix. Or the Vampire. Okay, so that is really exciting. I'm so glad I got that back, and I sent it back so you could put the new version of this. It's got twice the amount of gates on here, so it can run, it can do more. Whereas this one had the original, which was enough to run a fantastic Amiga experience. So if you've got one of these, don't be disappointed. Don't complain to Edu. You've got a fantastic product. You don't know how much this is going to cost you either. This is fantastic. So, but you're not going to be able to get the RTG on here. Right. Now, but the games and demos and that thing, perfect. Which is why I asked him to do this. I mean, I knew in the early days, we didn't know about RTG because that was recently coming out. So this, I asked him to swap this over. On this, originally it had the same little board, so you get that now, right? Okay, I think this possibly is my favourite. Now, let's go on to the next one, which is going to be interesting because I have to go over FC my arse again. Now, some of you know, if you can see behind me, it's not focused in, so you're not really going to see it. But I have my MiSTer over there. I'm just opening up another box first of all. I bought one of these D10 nanos and I built my MiSTer, and I love my MiSTer. It's a really nice little board. It's a different system. Okay, it is a different system. You have to forgive me looking down because I'm looking to the picture. Right. Yep. So this, there's Alfie trying to come in, but today I'm not going to let him in. I'm quite lucky. I do have an office, but I spend most of my time working from home. I'm just going to ground myself, just in case I've got any. Somebody's going to need a strap. No, just before you touch the electronic, just touch. It's like a radio or something like that. A bare metal piece. Any static, just dissipate through that. Okay. So here's a D10 Nano. Okay, it's a lovely little board. Okay, and this has basically twice the amount of gates on it than the other one. But it's a lovely little board, and I'm really pleased with it. So that's where the next one comes in. Now this is where, oh wow, that does look nice actually. Okay. This is called MiSTix. It's a great name actually, because I wanted him to think of a name, and he came up with the name MiSTix, which is a fantastic name. I'm really, really impressed with the name. Let me just take this off. Right. Can you see it's got this little board here? Yeah, no, well, let me put it out a little bit. I've had to turn off autofocus as I mentioned. You see a little board, it kind of loops around. Now what happens is that this then fits onto here. It's going to screw onto there, okay? And then that will plug into the board. That will plug in to give it power. I have. I've already pre-purchased these bits, and I'll show you in another video this stuff. I'm going to assemble it and what have you. So what I've done is, you may have seen some pictures before, but I bought this tiny little USB, and basically what that's going to do, it's going to plug into there, and hopefully it's going to fit, and then it will go round and it will plug into the MiSTer board. So you have a couple of connections. This connection connects to the main GPIO pins of the MiSTer. I think it's GPIO anyway. The expansion port of the pins. This one powers. This one does the USB, and of course, as you can see, we've got 3 USB ports on the back. Now, it's obviously quite important to understand that you've got 3. There may be, remember this is a prototype. We may do more here, but you do have a problem with space. But we also, I am asking him to do some internal ones as well. So I think that's quite important, because then you can connect SATA via USB. So for those people who've mentioned it, yes, I'm aware. Okay, but remember, this is a prototype. However, it's fantastic. He turned this out in a week. Oh, it took 2 weeks to get it, longer to get it. It did for him to design it, right? So 2 weeks he turned this out in, and so other teams out there, you know, it's not complicated doing Mini ITX, right? It's not meant to be. It is, yeah. Get yourself a Mini ITX version, okay? Then you can put it in any case, yeah. Not silly little cases. And that's not an advert for mine. So what we've got here is this nice little board. It's called MiSTix, and we will then fit this to that. Then that means once. Oh, and the other bits that you can connect up to it. I'm going to do a proper back plate, so as you can see, I've got on here. Can you see this mounting plate I did for that with the proper cutouts? I'm going to do the same thing for these boards. Now it's probably going to be one board to do both. So please don't complain when you see it's got, oh yeah, it's got a gap there, yeah, because I can't do that many, you know, we have to be careful what we're doing here. But it will then allow, if I can get this open. Right. Now, one of the other things on there is on the D10, you also have network output and you have HDMI output. And all that's going to happen is, I will be, when I do the kit, because I know people are going to ask this question. Yeah, see that? And so that one screws onto the back of the case, and that's your HDMI, and that plugs into the board, and it's got an angle connector on it. So that'll go inside and plug on. And then we have this one, which should be the network one. So all these connectors will go on the back of the case where you need them. So you can see the same thing again. Let me go there. See, so that screws onto the back of the panel, and that plugs into the D10. So the fitting kit's going to have all that. So that's basically that and that board. Right. So what we got here is, let me grab them both. As I said, I'm going to do a video of the performance, and I think these are going to perform the same. From my understanding, because they told me the sysinfo scores, and don't laugh about sysinfo scores because they are quite useful, they give you an idea. I think they'll perform the same. They'll both have RTG, so basically they'll be I believe they're going to be very similar performance. I think reality, this one's going to be, well, it's going to be cheaper, I can tell you that right now. It's going to be a lot cheaper than this one. This one's going to be more expensive for the same performance, but then you're getting, the difference with this is, I think this is more hardcore. I think this is actually really Amiga. I honestly, it's an FPGA Amiga. It's just going to be wonderful, and I cannot wait to build it. And that white one over there has got the Pi in it at the moment. That's coming out. This is going in now. That's going to be, yes. No, I'm not going to black one actually, because I've got keyboard issues. That means, oh no, I've got one of them anyway. I've got 4 prototype cases. So this is going to be a lot more expensive, because obviously the D10 Nano costs £125. The RAM for it is probably about 50, 60 quid if you put, depending on how much you put in, it's between 30 and 50 quid. The fitting kit we don't know yet. Okay. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with everyone. If you buy these kits from me, they are going to be more expensive than if you get them from Edu. I cannot do anything about that, right? I'm going to be a lot more expensive. The reason for that is Edu's not VAT registered, I'm VAT registered. It gets really complicated, I don't want to go into it. I have to put some profit on it. I'm not expecting massive discounts, I might get a little bit, but you're probably going to find it should be free shipping, so I'm probably going to pay the same price as you. So, if you want to build your own, buy a case. Now, I know you said about I've got a feeling he may want me just to sell these only. I don't know yet. We'll come back to you on this. This has got to be decided. But if he does decide to sell them, you know, I have no problem. Go to him, build them yourself, be cheaper, save yourself some money. But of course, when you've got shipping and all parts, I don't know, it's going to work any different. But I have to make a profit on these. Not a huge one, but I have to make a profit on these. I have to be, because I'm VAT registered, so that goes on top. The whole thing gets really complicated, so it's not going to be peanuts. So I'm just pre-warning you. But what I can promise you is, when you get them, they'll be set up, ready to go, RTG, officially licensed operating systems with Amiga. I'm probably more than 90% sure that these boards are going to come with OS 3.1.4. Now I'm hoping that Hyperion will honour an upgrade, depending. If they do a 3.2, they may do an upgrade. If not, it'll be an inexpensive upgrade. So it depends where we are, but at the moment 3.1.4 is the latest, so that's the one I've purchased. I've got nearly 100 of these, 90 licenses, so I can build 90 of these, no problem. I'm going to set up, they're going to come with an SD card, both of them come with an SD card, and they'll have it all set up. You just turn it on and away you go, right? Now if you're a customer, you'll have a private place where you can download an image to redo your card if you bugger it up. So we're trying to build a system in place, and obviously you can have the keyboards. Now again, PS2 keyboards, yeah? PS2 keyboard and mouse kind of limits you. I will be supplying them, okay? But you can get them cheaper than I'm going to supply them, because you can buy them for what I paid for them, obviously, okay? So if you buy them from me, I'm marking them up.
So you may want to build it, but then you may have shipping, so it's up to you to decide. But if you want to buy just a complete system, these will come with PS2 keyboard and mouse. I have a supplier, not particularly cheap, but I have a supplier. They will be cheaper than the USB ones. Now, you have to decide if you want to build these yourself. You know, all you got to do is buy a case for me. I mean, when you see the Kickstarter launch, you'll see there's a basic version of the case. No frills, no fancy packaging. It's cheaper. And then there's a deluxe package, which has got everything in it, all the extras. Well, not all the extras, but it's got a lot of extras you might need. Typical battery value. Anyway, where am I? So, I will be doing complete kits. They will be as friendly on price as I can make them. But again, remember, this is what it is. Right, so you'll get prices on them, will come out later on. I can't do it now because I haven't fully worked out the prices. I'm still waiting from Edu. And of course, don't forget, because these are prototypes still, they're not really the finished article yet. Well, let's just say they're going to be an awful lot cheaper than a Vampire, okay? A lot cheaper. So, I think that really pretty much covers it. Well, let me cover this. If you're an Amiga fan, oh, the one thing I didn't cover actually, I suppose. Can you see they've got ATX connectors? Yeah, they've got ATX. Let's hold this one because I really like this one. ATX connector on here, so that hence if you're using the obviously ITX, plug in a normal SFX power supply or power supply into there, and there's a power switch on here. You just press the button, all works. LEDs, power LEDs, everything's set up so you build a nice system. So in the hang on, I'll come back in. There's a lot of this about. So if you're a Mr. fan, this is mine. Now originally I only built this, and I thought, well, I'll just build it up, and then I'll rip it to pieces, and I'll just take the D10 out. I just had so much fun with this. I'm not going to go into now. If you buy the Mr. version, now first of all, if you buy this version, they will be putting some other cores on it, but it's not like using this. Okay, there's not the big community around this yet, so there will be cores for other things coming and improvements being made. So the developers that work on this are doing some great work. There's a massive and they're sharing work between them. But if you buy this, which will be more expensive because this is nearly 3 times the price as the card in the UnAmiga ITX. So just this, so it's a lot more expensive. But most of the time, people will be building these. Now, if you're an Amiga fan, all you want to do is Amiga. So with the MiSTix, gives you everything you're going to need. I do think we need another 1 or 2 internal. I'd like that to be a double instead of a single, but I'm going to talk to Edu about this, and he's seeing this again. But I do think it's important to have USB on here because this is capable of powering lots of USB devices, and I think we want this to be expandable. We want to plug a CD-ROM into it. For some people want a CD-ROM drive, some people want a hard drive internally, that kind of thing. So you've got a big power supply in there, complete overkill, but it'll still be good. But this is just wonderful. Now I absolutely, I mean, I just thought, oh, I'll see what it's like because I was already in love with this little thing, you see. But this doesn't do any more. But what this does is a massive community of people developing cores for computers. If you're really into, I know most people in games, right? And that's cool. I mean, I started playing. I never play games. The only time I play games is with my kids, and Alfie loves them. So we're playing games all the time now. And I mean, I must admit, these 2 FPGA boards. I mean, I don't get me wrong. The Pi is fantastic. It ain't the same as this. It's really not the same. You know, because it's so accurate, the FPGAs. I mean, you're recreating the chips, so it runs just the same. But there's so many cores on me. I mean, you're going to see the video when I do this. I've got so many cores. I just, but I didn't really want it for the Amiga. But if you want to build a retro machine that can emulate, See, even I use it, but I don't think of it as a dirty. Emulation is not a dirty word. Emulation is incredible, right? Anyone who thinks emulation is, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. Because emulation's stunning work. You do it. You try recreating something. I'm sorry, I get really annoyed about that. People make emulation a dirty word. This is simulation of the hardware. So this is literally recreating the chips from the original hardware in an FPGA chip. So it's way more accurate. You have to get your settings right though, as I learned. When I first plugged it in, it was as jerky as, an emulator. I was really disappointed. But then it's just a couple of settings you have to do. There was one that's a delay, and you have to do this delay thing on it. And once you set that delay, it makes sure the timing's frame accurate. And this is wonderful then. So all my old demos where you get these massive bits of text, they just smoothly go across the screen. So I love this. The fact that you can do RTG now. I mean, I run this in 1280 by 720. Man, I love it. I got this wonderful workbench. You'll see this in the video. I mean, I may actually, when I do the next video, tack it onto an edited version of this. Anyway, so that's mine. This is fantastic. If you're a MiSTer fan, a lot of people are showing interest in the MiSTix board for very good reasons. Okay, because these, as good as they are, look at all them ports. All around the place. What a mess. It's a bit like when you're running a Pi, you've got these ports all the way around. Why do you want that? I mean, I understand for cost. It's not really meant for a consumer device, but these will plug in. Now, as I said, on the back of this, I didn't actually show you this, did I? So on the back of here, there we go. This has been built, this is really set for obviously an Amiga, but for analog stuff. So you've got your VGA output here, you've got your SD card reader there. You've got audio in and out. Audio in and out. Now he's done, I think he may have done something to the DAC on this, I'm not sure. Then you've got a joy port, only one joy port. I think they might be for the mouse or joystick. And then 3 USB ports. Okay, so you got 3. I mean, I know he's balancing cost and so on, but I do think that needs another one, and I think it needs 2 internals. But that's the only change that I can think of at the moment, because on the MiSTer board, it's not called MiSTer, it's on the DE10. There's HDMI, and I've already showed you the cable that comes to the rear of the panel, and then you've got network, so you're not losing anything. That's going to come to the back, and then of course you can run Wi-Fi. Put Wi-Fi dongle. I mean, my MiSTer has a Wi-Fi. You can see the little dongle on there, my Wi-Fi, and I plug in it my really nice keyboards. Let me show you the keyboards. Hang on. Right, I've got these custom keyboards. They come in white and black. Okay, hopefully you can see that. That light is way too bright, isn't it? Wonders of editing. I just changed the lighting around so you can see this a little bit better. Well, it's not much better, but can you see that? Now, it's just an example of a keyboard. More importantly, are these keys. The actual caps. Let me see if I can get this in here. Yeah, so can you see the caps? So you've got an Amiga key. We've had these caps, keycaps being made, and they're going to come with the cases. And you can buy the keycaps separately, but also I thought it'd be nice to have a sample keyboard. Now, I've seen comments, oh, that's a Windows key because you got this. Oh, sod off. Buy your own keyboard, I don't care. I mean, this is a lovely keyboard. You'll notice it's kind of the key. It just got a kind of an Amiga feel to it with that keycaps. And this on the MiSTer and on Raspberry Pi and on your PC, this dial automatically works. This volume dial, and you press it pauses. It actually works on those 3. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter because this won't plug in. This won't plug into the UnAmiga anyway because you're in the ITX. So basically, that's gonna work, which is great news. For the emulators, if you're just running an Amiga core, well, even then it will work because if you're running it on the MiSTer, because it's got that ARM core in it. You know, so if you're looking for, let's put this into perspective. If you want to just bare bones Amiga set up, and you're happy with performance, because don't forget you've always further up. So we've got a bit of a stack going on here now. At the base, but not the worst, is the UnAmiga, okay, and this will run at lovely performance. But it doesn't have all the bells and whistles because it doesn't have the ARM processor doing a lot of the work. Getting files to it is a bit more complicated. You know, it's a little bit more work there, and you have to be serious. And in an ideal world, you'd have this and an emulator, so you can take the file from here. If you want to do major changes to it, do it in an emulator and plug it back in again. So, but there is a serial connection, so you can get files to it. Now, the other thing I didn't cover, and this video is going on forever, sorry about that, but there you go. It's, you know, it's not scripted, anything like that. Whereas this one's going to be more expensive, probably twice the price, okay? As far as the board and the adapters and everything are concerned. But you do get network on it because you've got network connections. So now what you can do is you can communicate. What I do is, I don't know if you saw the video for Neil from Retro Man Cave. What he does, he has it all set up. And then on his normal day-to-day computer, he has an FTP client, and he just FTP files over. I have a shared folder on here, which the Amiga can read. It just mounts as a drive, and I just copy files to it. Or for the other cores, you just do updates. So this has got much more advanced networking. Okay, the Amiga networking, I still haven't got that quite working yet. I mean, I know it technically works, but I haven't got that working yet. But you don't really need it if you want that. If you really want to do advanced networking, buy this. It's a Linux machine with a fantastic Amiga emulation on top, but I run AMI hybrid. If you go, I must have net, that's what you want. That one, because the networking on that is fantastic. But there's enough networking on here to either buy a RJ45, or I've got my little dongle, Wi-Fi dongle. I can communicate with it from my main machine, doesn't matter where, and I transfer files backwards and forwards. That's all I need. You're not going to browse the web on this thing. You know, what's the point? I mean, you don't need that. But if you want to do creation, or if you want to do, games, you want to play demos, all kinds of things. It's a lovely board. I really like that. And a lot of people, misters, are thinking they might want to just move over. So nothing's going to change. It just means now you need to have an SFX power supply to power it, and you've got these. All the connectors will be on the back of the case, whether you use my case or another. And that's it. I wanted to do this. I mean, I'm just so pleased with these boards. I thought they were lost in the mail, but no, they're not. So thanks to Edu. Look. He really turns these out. I don't know how he does it. Okay, I don't know how you do it, Edu. But these are fantastic. You know, it's like as a developer that's got no skills. I mean, I'm okay at copying someone's case design and making it pretty and building hopefully a nice product. I mean, that's the aim. But you know, this is out of my reach. You know, so to have people like that I can call on. It bodes well for the future, because this isn't all I've got in my. There's a lot more up there. But yeah, look at that, fantastic. Thanks. See you soon, and don't forget to get my Kickstarter. You've got December the 8th. Okay, December the 8th, and please support me on Patreon. $1 a month. That's all I ask. If you can do that, that's fantastic, because it actually really helps no end. All right. Speak to you soon. Thanks so much. Goodbye.